I can't tell you how often I've heard people like, "Oh, you're just doing so many things. You're so busy, Tucson. Oh, how do you have time for anything?" It's like, no, that's not actually what's happening. And sometimes I believe it. I'm like, maybe I am doing too much. Damn. But I'm here to tell you, you're not doing too much unless you say you're doing too much. And that's simply how it is. That's the rule that I've made for myself. I know when I'm doing too much. When I'm like, man, why did I just tell that person I could meet them in a few hours? I know damn well I can't make that. But to get to the foundation of it, people will say, Tucson, what do you like doing more, film or music? And I know from that question that my experience is not something that people understand, because if you understood my experience, that's not a question. It's not a question. For me, it's all one and the same. It's just different lanes of where you assign yourself to it. For music, for me, there's two lanes. There's performing, there's on stage performing, and then there is the creative process, writing, recording. Hey, what'd you think of that? Bounce back and forth. Okay, let's listen to that tomorrow, see how we feel about it. That's, those are the two lanes for music for me. That's what I boil it down to. And that's the same two lanes I boil down spoken word to. Either I'm sitting and writing and rehearsing, or I'm performing. Two different lanes. For film has about like three different lanes. One is the creating, like the writing, pre-production. Then two is production. And then the third lane is post-production. And for all of those things, for me, it's all one and the same of, it starts in the same place. It starts with me and a notebook, me and some words, or a laptop. And if it starts there, then for me, it's the same. It's the same to me. So asking me, what do I like more, film or music, is like asking me, do you like to create art? Do you like to create art, or do you like to create art? Do you like to write, or do you like to write? It's all the same to me. And so that's how I view it, or at least that's how I process it. I mean, once you get into a film, that process is way different than what I'm going to be doing for an album. Nipsey Hussle had a great line. He said, my main girl is a C note, my side girl is Creole. And he was on The Breakfast Club, and they said, whoa, how could you say that? You got a girlfriend right now. And he's like, dude, I wrote that like 5 years ago. It's like, that's how long it takes to make an album sometimes. And I got a line like, God, it's in an unreleased song that'll be coming out in like a year or two. Every fight I had is a title defense, Aldo. And it's referencing Jose Aldo, who was the UFC champion. Every fight he had was a title defense up until 2017 or 2016. I wrote that 4 or 5 years ago, and that'll come out someday, and somebody's gonna be like, hey, that's not true. Jose Aldo lost a bunch of fights in the past, man. It's like, well, yeah, I wrote that when he was a champion, so F off. But that being said, this idea that you are doing too much, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. And your process is your process. Your lanes are your lanes. You assign yourself however you assign yourself. You burn yourself out however you burn yourself out. You know yourself. You get it. And I mean, you know yourself, but sometimes you may not be aware of yourself. That definitely, I've experienced that before, where I will not realize I'm doing too much until I've been doing too much. So be careful of the "you doing too much" phrase, because you might just be doing you, and outside influencers are, telling you that you're doing otherwise. And it's important to stay authentic and true to what you believe that you're doing in your process, and that you're getting done what you want to get done, and creating the art that you want to impact your community and your people with. So be very trusting of yourself, and ride that. Yeah, trust that. So that is my 2 cents on that. I will say you should visit my Patreon at patreon.com/Toussaint Morrison. I'm going to get into the nit and grit of that later on, but that thing has been part of my process, and getting people to join my projects, people like yourself that are listening right now. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Put them in the comments below, and I will answer anything that you have to ask. And you know, as long as it's like, you know, not vulgar or anything weird, I'll answer it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.